Hello everyone, it's Kylie. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is a flip through of Florence. Florence is a journal I have created and she is full of flowers. There are flowers everywhere, layers and layers of flowers. And Florence was also my grandmother's name, and I distinctly remember all of her floral dresses. She was a very impeccably well put together woman. I'm not sure that that's reflected in this journal because there's some shabby chicness, and my grandmother was definitely not shabby chic. However, I just felt that name fitted well to the journal. Now I'm going to show you the two kits that I have used in this journal. The first one is my ledger and lace kit. So I have a collage of the different pages here so you can see what they look like. I will link the kits in the description below, and I'm doing this so that I don't forget the names of the kits, and I also don't have to keep referring to the kit that I've used throughout the journal, so that the flip through will, I feel, flow a lot better. So you could see what pages were in each kit, and we can just sort of, you know, go through the creative aspect of the journal and the visual aspect as well, I guess. All right, so front cover and back cover are separate and connected by a piece of tapestry fabric. So I'll come back to the front. So I haven't lined the tapestry fabric with anything, but it is very thick, so it's holding up well as the spine of the journal. There are 3 signatures. I have sewn the signatures with hand dyed and torn lace, and I've come from the outside. So normally you bind from the inside of a signature, and with the extra length I've just tied a bow on the spine because I think it just looks really cute and shabby. And this bow, I will train it to do to sit how I want it to sit. This is the back. So I've done some sort of textile collaging. I have a really beautiful cotton linen as the base, and then I have this, it's a modern eyelet, but I have avocado dyed it, and then patchworked some vintage fabrics. I fussy cut a blossom and hand stitched that on. I have some Swiss dot tulle here just to add some depth and interest, a little snippet of crochet at the top, and I've actually stuck on a fussy cut flower that is permanently stuck on with glue, so hopefully that stays where it's meant to stay. But that's one side of the journal, or the back, and this is the front. So on the front, same thing. I've used the cotton fabric, the eyelet. I've collaged the tulle and the vintage fabric, and I have a piece of doily here that I've torn. So everything's sort of torn and a little bit shabby. I've fussy cut another blossom, and I've hand sewn that onto the front. And I love these beautiful vintage embroidered brooches. I've only found them in the UK, and I do collect them. So I've pinned one to the front there with some crochet medallions off a tablecloth. So that's sort of how I've layered them. I needed to do that to have some height, because the back of the brooch has the pin, and it's probably 1/2 centimetre. I think that might be 1/8 of an inch. And it looked funny on the flat surface. It was sort of moving too much, so I layered these underneath just to give it like a little cushion to rest in, I guess. And that is sort of like blossoms in a blossom on blossoms. which is where I've got the Florence and the layers of flowers from. Okay, so going inside, Florence is A5 sized, so 72 pages, I think, but very decorated. And I've put a lot of ephemera in her as well, because my grandmother was she was something else anyway. So I've used actually from my mother-in-law, she got me the wallpaper from the Chateau. Dick and Angel have a TV series called The Chateau, and I love that show. So for Christmas, Pam got me some of the wallpaper, and so I had to use it straight away. I don't know what else I'm going to use. It's probably going to be in everything I make from now on, but I love it. So I have lined the front and back covers with that, and I've put some beautiful vintage fabric there. And here it's sort of a floating pocket, so you can write on the back, but I've put one of my doily labels there, so you can maybe name the journal. It doesn't have to be Florence, obviously. That is a tag from a book page, and I felt the colours just went beautifully with this opening scene. And here I've used some gorgeous ribbon worked ribbon, and that is sewn onto the pocket, so that goes in there ready for you to write all of your intentions for the journal. On this side I have sewn on a doily snippet, and that's a pocket, so I've just torn that. I love that look, that sort of shabby look, and I have a beautiful vintage glass button, and it actually has tiny little gold flowers on it as well. So I thought, and it's the perfect color, and you can sort of see the printable pages throughout. So as I said, I'm not going to point them out. Here I've made a really large pocket and a journaling card with a fussy cut flower and some collaging velvet ribbon there, and a nice big space on the back to journal. So I've tried to compensate for the amount of decorating with journaling space, but it's probably one of those journals you need to be a little bit creative about where you find the space to journal. I've tucked a Maggie Holmes tag I've made out of one of her papers in here for something a bit different, and the pop of colour. Here I have a beautiful wax seal. I'll just show you that. I've coloured that in gold. Oh, there's another craft thing I've found. I will show you when I get to it, because I received it in an order halfway through making the ephemera, and you'll see what happened when I got it. Okay, so with a little Tim Holtz pin, I've just put a beautiful antique music book page from France there, and that's something you could fussy cut and maybe use some of the words. A vintage library card I've just done some decorating on, and here I've just put some paper down the side of the page to add some interest. And on this side I actually managed to change the ink ribbon in my typewriter, so I've done a little bit of typing. I've also found how to correct a mistake without retyping the whole thing, because this was the 10th attempt, and honestly, typing these poems, there's 2 poems in this journal, which is why I got the typewriter, so that I could add like another style of ephemera, and I've just pinned a little element on the top there. There were 4 ways that I could have the ribbons, and it took me 4 goes to get them right, so I finally worked it out. Definitely not a typewriter technician. This is an original book page, and here I've just sewn on a beautiful piece of lace and you can see the garden and the blossoms through it. So it's sort of like a lace fence. I love that. So some of the tuck spots and pockets I have left empty for you to put your own things, obviously. Here I've got a beautiful sari silk ruffle, and this is a book page plate that I have just backed and made into a journaling card. I've done another ruffle here, so I really love this roughly layered look. It would look awesome too if you had the ruffles down the side, which I might do in my next journal. And I've just put a decoration up the top there. This is a one of the laminated cards that I've just slipped in there, and you can see with the silk binding that it you don't obviously tie it in the middle. This is antique, a vintage, embroidery magazine. So it's quite delicate, but I feel still robust enough to be in a journal as a page. That's the other side of that book page. Here I've just put a little cluster, I guess, of things that you could snip off and use to collage, and I absolutely adore these French, they're embroidered laundry tags or tabs. I think you cut them off a big roll, and I just love, I was born in 1979, so I was drawn to that number, so that's why it's that number. And on the back, just to sort of hide that little piece there, which I don't find offensive, but I had already sewn this little snippet on. That's off the ribbon work piece and some fabric just as a little design element. And there's some vintage fabric there just as something a bit sweet. Hopefully I'm in frame. On this page I've got a gorgeous pocket. I got this fabric from Emily from Blue Linen Cottage, and I use little snippets here and there because I am hoarding it. I've pinned on some original ephemera as well in this journal so that you can actually use it to create your own little collages in your journal. So that's a French diary, and this is a book page from a Happy Mail book that I was gifted from a dear friend in Germany. So that's tucked in there, and just, it was nice just to sort of have those layers. I've ruffled some fabric here, quite thin fabric, and I have another wax seal. And I love the collaging on these pages because the collaging's already done. You don't have to really do much to zhuzh it. There's some washi tape there, and I've sewn a mother of pearl button onto that tab, which I think, and I've just left the threads to dangle because I love bows. Here I managed to find some of that laundry tape with a P and a D for Paper Daisy, which I thought was really cool. So I've just sewn some of that onto this pocket or sort of tuck spot. You can glue that down if you wish. This is actually, that's another printable, my watercolor flower printable, and I just used a little bit of the distress ink in the tea dye from Tim Holtz to take the white off of the image. This is an original encyclopedia page from France, and I've just used a printable page there to make a pocket. I had a little snippet of that crochet I used on the cover, so I've just put that at the top there. I'll show you the tops and the sides at the end of the video because that is one of my favorite parts. Here I've just done a little bit of layering. I had a tab and I had a snippet of velvet, and then I had some beautiful antique ribbon with a little butterfly, so it might be a bit difficult to see, but that is a butterfly. I stapled them together and stuck that butterfly ribbon on the top, so that's how that sort of came about. That's a little tuck spot there that I've decorated, and I have an original piece of ephemera from the United States, and I have a piece of vellum that I have embossed with Tim Holtz 3D roses. I love that embossing folder. And I have used original vintage ledger, blank ledger throughout as well, and I have embossed a piece of really beautiful pink, I call it wedding invitation paper, because it's that special sort of the right thickness and the right texture. And I've used part of a vintage embroidered hanky here as a pocket, and I just love the embroidery detail on hankies. And that's a collaged tag that I've tea stained, just a luggage tag. And a book page as the center page there, and I love the blush colors really sort of tie in with the rest of the journal on there. This tag here, I've just used a little bit of doily, a ruffle and a mother of pearl button, and I've just backed that, and that is in a little eyelet tuck spot up the top there, and a little bit of the embossed paper. And here I've used avocado dyed paper in the journal as well, and I've done a double sort of ruffle. I used sari silk, and I also used some of this beautiful old, it's sort of time worn or threadbare Swiss dot sort of fabric that I've torn. And at the bottom here I had some length, and I was going to cut it off, but I decided to tie a little knot and add a little charm there of a flower, little cherry blossom charm at the bottom, and that looks just really sweet hanging out the bottom of the journal. On this side, on this page, on this whatever, I think you might have heard the garbage truck go past. It's thrown me. I was trying to ignore it and talk over the top of it, but it's now just like, why now? Why come past right now? You're early today. How rude. Anyway, let's just laugh about it and move on. It's an essential service, and I fully respect anyone who does any sort of rubbish removal. The world is a much cleaner, healthier place. I just go from one thing to the next. I typed out this beautiful poem. It is about daisies, and I just stapled on a little blossom element there. This is a book page, which I think you could definitely fussy cut some of those blossoms, or you know, if something special has happened in March, then you've got something to use in a collage. So I've just tucked that there as layers. This is a tuck spot for one of your treasures. This is the other side of that blank music score paper, and I've just done some simple collaging there, a fabric tab, and then this journaling card actually has a pocket at the back. I've used original ledger and some embroidery, music paper, so some scraps here and there, but I'm sure I'm going into a bit of detail here because hopefully you can see there's some gold glitter around the edge. Now there's also obviously a velvet ruffle. Lots of people, lots of artists were doing gold and silver around their Christmas decorations this year, and I really fell in love with the look of doing that. So I had a little search on one of my favorite craft shops, my online craft shop, and I found this. Now I have seen a couple of people on Instagram use this on the cover of journals and things like that, and I'm showing you so I don't have to actually write it. It's the Chocolate Box Duo of the Glitter Kiss. It's Creative Expressions is the brand. And I got this one because of the gold glitter. The brown on the other side, I'm not sure if I'll actually bother using that, but I had a little go. I had a little go on this card, and I had to restrain myself from putting this on every single thing in this journal. Do not be surprised if I make my next journal and it is literally covered in this and I have to buy another container because it dries really well, but it has a texture to it. There's some shimmer, but it's not too shimmery. Anyway. Shame on those people who used it on all of their Christmas decorations, because now I am a glitter addict. I hated glitter. I hated glitter as a kindergarten teacher for years. If someone said glitter, I would twitch. And now I'm using it in my craft. Who would have thought? Anyway, if you like it, get it, because you can see I've used it here as well. It's from this point going forward, it was open slather. This is also a journal card, and I have used a decorated page for the bottom with some fabric sticking out, a little collage of some scraps there, and the colors all tie in really well. And I just stapled a little piece of scrap fabric as a tab on the side, so I'm doing a little bit of stapling as well. And that is just a page from one of my kits, and I tried really hard not to glitter that as well, because I thought sometimes I go too far every time. Every single time, so I didn't. I'm proud of me. Okay, so again, some beautiful decorated pages there, another wax seal of a blossom and eyelet pocket, and I have a beautiful antique postcard here of a rose, and there is space on the back. It's embossed, it's gorgeous, it's one of the Tux brand, and I just put this on here for something a bit different. You can of course tie anything on there, and it was just tied in a sort of shabby, nonchalant way, so I'll stop fussing with it now. This is an original Victorian scrap that I've just stuck on this ledger page here. A little mini envelope with a fussy cut flower, and inside I did a little bit of watercolouring, and that is meant to be a chrysanthemum. So there was a page from one of my kits, I'm not going to try and find it, that had a bunch of chrysanthemums, so I decided to have a go at loosely watercolouring one of them, and that's how it turned out. But you can definitely journal on the other side of that, and I did use the gold on it. I have stuck that on there too, so that's like a little flipper for some secretive journaling. Here I have a Will cigarette card and a French English flashcard. So I've tucked those in to there, and this quilt, it was a cot quilt, is antique. It is completely embroidered. I can't show you the flip side because I've made it into a pocket, but I only use the smallest amounts because when that is used up, it's gone. Well, it's not gone as in disappeared, it's just gone from my care to other people's in journals. That's on a book page, another one of those watercolour florals. They're just so beautiful and delicate. And I have some decorations on that page. On this side, I've used a little Tim Holtz not a tiny attacher, paperclip. This flips open, and in here I've just got a plain tea-stained luggage tag, and this is from a antique French diary from 1902, and I love the lines. I would even possibly stick that on there and just write on the lines. But I also loved the celestial arrangement, and there's a farmer looking at the stars in the picture, which I thought was really cool, the little details. So I've just pinned that all together. I'll check the other side. Oh, and that just all tucks in there. This was off the edge of a tablecloth, beautiful handmade bobbin lace, and I have put a collaged tag in there, and this is some original ephemera from the 1930s, I think, from the French Maritime, and it does have holes at the top, so I've just put a little bit of tulle there to pop out the top, which is fun. Another Maggie Holmes tag that I've made for the pop of colour with some beautiful lace, Rose of the Orient. And this pocket here, I've just found, with all my little snippets, I just lined them up and I zigzagged from the top to the bottom before I stuck the tuck spot down. So I've left that empty for some personal ephemera. This is a beautiful piece of fabric with a fussy cut butterfly. I didn't back this this antique postcard because I thought I would leave that up to the person who purchases the journal. But here in the corner, I've just added some dyed doily with some of the tulle, and I decided to weave a little bit of thread. I had some thread sitting on the table for something a bit different, and this is a gold photo corner that I got from my friend Sarah at Crafty Paper Bits on Instagram. Oh, and I will actually have to glue that, so I'll leave that out because you actually push it on. But yeah, I'll fix that up. Lesson learnt. Or yes, don't be so caught up with all the glitter and actually finish the journal properly. A tulle bow at the top, which I love, a little snippet. So I've sewn this image on as a little tuck spot, and that's a little card that I have stapled one of those little flowers onto, so you can pull it out as a tab. And I have done some glittering. This is from Pride and Prejudice, Miss Darcy, who had taken a liking to, and you can finish that off. Maybe on the back of the tag, or it might be a bit something maybe a bit private on that one. Oh dear, I don't know how my mind works sometimes. Oh, but distracted by some gorgeous antique lace at the bottom there. How delicate is that? Anyway, putting that in that little tuck spot. Fussy cut, I think they might be cherries or something fruity like, berry like I should say. A ruffle here, sort of a double ruffle for interest on a book page. And that's another piece of that ribbon with the butterflies. Here I have a little bulldog clip, and I have put an antique glass leaf charm on there, and I just love the sound of that on the journal. This is a book page, Edith Holden, and an original calling card of Emma Kuhns, I think, Kuhns. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And I've just clipped those on, so they're sort of little things that you can use in the journal. And in the back here I have another pocket with that wallpaper, And this is an envelope I've made out of printables and bits and pieces, some of that washi tape and embossed paper. On the back I made a little pocket with a little tag so that you can do some journaling on that. And you can sort of see that tag sticking up over the top, which I thought was really cute. And I've put some beautiful vintage eyelet and woven fabric there, but that's a nice big, well, not big, it's a nice envelope, and there's a little, oh, gilded card. Are we surprised? No. And I've actually put some fussy cut flowers on the flowers, so I thought that was really sweet, tucked in there and tucked in there. So lots of tucking, lots of flowers, lots of things going on. That's the side view, so some gorgeous things sticking out there and some little things sticking out the top. I sort of had that resting over the back of the journal, which I thought was really cute, really cute touch. And of course things dangling out the bottom, because that's just how we roll in my craft room anyway. Bits everywhere, just not all over the desk. That's completely organized. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have found some inspiration, and I would love for you to see me in my next video. Bye.